the smell of pumpkin spice candles. I don't think there's anything better, truly. Like, I am that basic girl. I love anything pumpkin spice, and it's that time of year, which means it is time to do a spooky, paranormal, dark academia, fantasy, gothic, romance TBR for this spooky October month. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If we haven't met before, my name is Ragan. I make bookish content here on the internet. Welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk about all things fantasy and fantasy romance primarily. Today I have 16 wishful, hopeful reads for the month of October because no, I didn't finish my September or my August TBR, so like those books are kind of trickling into this month, but I really love this time of year. So I have 16 books I want to talk about. I'm going to go kind of fast. Some of these you probably heard before, others you might not have. I have a mix between new adult and adult fantasy with like maybe a sprinkle of YA, but primarily we'd like to keep things a little bit steamy on this channel. So if you want to stick around and add some of these to your TBR, I would love to know your thoughts. It is such a dark and gloomy, rainy, cold day. Like, this is the first day in England where I've felt like, oh god, summer is actually over, but it fits the vibe, it fits the theme. I have this new witchy potions, hexes, and spells book mug that I got at TK Maxx along with these. Aren't these adorable? I love them. I just need to like convince my husband to keep them up all month, but I think they're so cute. Right, okay. The first two books I want to talk about are actually by an independent author. Her name is Angela J. Ford, and I have two of her books from the Tower Knights Tales series, and I believe these are standalones. However, they kind of like intersect, and I'm not quite sure how many there are. She's written over 20 books. Anyway, Angela J. Ford is a very popular indie author. She writes steamy new adult fantasy books. I got two of her books last Christmas, and it is time to read them. I did start them when I first got them, and it came with bookmarks and some art, and then on the inside, really pretty hardback. So I highly recommend shopping indie when you can. I think my parents got these for me from her actual website, and this one is called Song of the Dawn, and it is about a haunted inn, a magical violin, and an intriguing innkeeper. I'm gonna read you a little bit of the synopsis because I think it does a fantastic job. Legend tells of a sacred land shrouded by the obscure, where the barrier between worlds is thin and strange things happen without rhyme or reason. Mila, a budding violinist, is unaware of these myths when she accepts a job at a remote inn called the Dawn. Awed by the atmospheric location, Mila begins to work, only to discover nothing is as it seems. Haunted by unsettling visages, mysterious disappearances, and the lure of a magical song, Mila takes it upon herself to unravel the secrets of the inn and its handsome innkeeper. She knows she should stay away from him, but every time he appears, her resolve weakens. Fate may have brought them together, but just as romance blooms, she discovers his ghastly secret. He's the harbinger of darkness, and standing by his side is a dangerous choice between life and something much worse than death. So I think we have an enemies to lovers romance. It's paranormal, it's dark, has a little bit of a gothic atmosphere. I'm excited about that one, but I'm more excited about this one called Music of the Night. And this is a gothic Phantom of the Opera retelling with a blend of Beauty and the Beast. So this says, a haunted tower, a mysterious instructor, and the lure of the music of the night. After the death of her father, Arya is left penniless and destitute. To avoid working the streets, she becomes the ward of a count and moves to a remote town called Hightower. Hightower is a gloomy place with one vivid attraction: the theater. Lords and ladies come from afar to be seduced by a night of unforgettable entertainment. However, many are warned to stay away from Hightower's dangerous enchantments, but it's a warning Arya is forced to ignore. Determined to take her life into her hands, she and the Count make a deal. She can avoid an arranged marriage if she learns to sing for him. So, I am excited. I only read you a little bit of that. I don't want to read anymore because it's quite a long synopsis, and I don't want to spoil anything for myself. Again, I got some art with it, a bookmark, and then the hardback is also designed, so I think it's really beautiful. They're quite short, and this is something that I think I could read both of them in a day. So if I like her work, which I remember liking the beginning because I think I read the first two chapters like the day I got them, but then set them down for other things. So if I like her work, I will definitely get some more. She's always doing discounts, so if you're wanting to try an indie book, but indie books can be a little bit more expensive because authors have to cover a lot of costs themselves. She does do discounts on her website, and I'm a part of her texting crew, so I get text messages from her all the time saying when there are deals. I will definitely pick up something again from her if I enjoy these books. Okay, this next series is one that you've definitely seen before. It's quite popular, and that would be Serpent and Dove by Shelley Marin. And I actually read the first 99 pages of this book a year ago, and it was gifted to me by a friend. So I need to get back into it. I read this on the airplane, and then like Christmas happened, and I was in America, and I didn't read anything. But this is about a witch and a witch hunter who are forced into a marriage. It has an arranged marriage trope and leads to lovers. So the witch hunter, he doesn't know that his new wife is a witch, and she has to like keep it secret, but they fall in love. I actually know what happens at the end of this book because I watched a spoilery review of it here on YouTube, and it wasn't a very positive review, and I can see why from what they were saying. It was with Sydney, and I will link her channel down below, but I still want to give it a go because it's very popular. Plus I have the sequel Blood and Honey, which I got on sale. I don't have Gods and Monsters yet, which is the series finale, but it's a witchy romance, and it's YA, it's paranormal, it's set in a like fantasy French setting. I got to the point where they are getting forced into an arranged marriage. I still remember what happened, so I don't think I'll have a problem jumping back into this. I just hope that the ending is better for me than it was for Cindy, and then if I like it, I will move on to book 2. So there we have those two. The next book I have to talk about is one I'm very excited for. You might have heard this before because it's a little bit of a backlist book from Jennifer L. Armentrout, and that would be Storm and Fury. This is a part of a paranormal YA trilogy that she wrote, and this follows a girl named Trinity who is going blind. She lives in this isolated compound for protection. She has a dark secret, and no one can find out what that secret is, otherwise demons will try to steal her power. She's protected by wardens who are these gargoyle shifters. Now I've been told that they're not like creepy, like they're sexy gargoyle shifters. So I'm thinking along the lines of like Edward Cullen in Twilight, like sexy vampires, you know, sexy gargoyles. Anyway, there's this boy named Zane who is a warden, one of these gargoyle shifters, and he comes into Trinity's life on the brink of a supernatural war, but he has secrets of his own. I think that this is an enemies to lovers romance yet again because that's my favorite trope. If you like that trope, welcome to my channel. We talk about it all the time. Reading Jennifer L. Armentrout's backlist books is a goal of mine for the remainder of the year, so I'm definitely excited to give this one a go. Love paranormal romance. It's been a while since I've read one. Actually, that's not true. I just read the Four Horsemen series by Laura Thalassa, and I have to do a review on that. I love them. Oh my god. But paranormal romance this time of year, perfect. So we have one of those. Next up, I have the first of 4 adult fantasy books that I want to pick up this month. And the first one is one I hauled recently, and that is The City of Dusk by Tara Sim. This is the adult Fairy Loot book box version. This is the first book in a gorgeous sweeping new trilogy by Tara Sims following vengeful gods, rebellious chosen ones, and dark magic. We're following 4 chosen ones who are the heirs to their realms of light, darkness, life, and death. You can see that there's like a lot of skull vibes, so I'm thinking that this is going to be a good one for this month. Next up is another from a recent book haul of mine, and that would be The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. Again, more skull vibes. I'm not quite sure what to expect with this one because I thought it was kind of like a contemporary fantasy, but I'm not sure. There's said to be a mix of spiciness, humor, darkness, romance, quirkiness. It's compared to Howl's Moving Castle and You've Got Mail, both of which I've not had any kind of introduction to, so I'm not quite sure how I will see this book, but if you are familiar with those works, then you might really enjoy this. But basically, we have Heart and Mercy who are pen paling each other anonymously. They're enemies, and I think that they're gonna fall into friends, and then they're gonna fall into lovers. So I'm hoping to enjoy this one. I'm not quite sure what to expect. Okay, this next one is a big one. You've definitely seen this one around, and that would be Babel by R.F. Kwan, an Arcane History. This is the beautiful Fairy Loot edition. I love these sprayed edges. I've not hauled this one yet. I will put it in a haul coming up. We have this gorgeous cover naked hardback, and then it has inside cover art, and then I'll show you quickly the back. Now, R.F. Kuang, She wrote the Poppy War series, which I have not read. I know that might be a really unpopular opinion, but it just hasn't caught out to me yet. However, this is her new dark academia book. I think it's the start of a series. I'm going to quickly read you the inside. It's very short. It says, an act of translation is always an act of betrayal. Oxford, 1836. The city of dreaming spires. It is the center of all knowledge and progress in the world, and at its heart is Babel, Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, the tower from which all the power of the empire flows. Orphaned in Canton and brought to England by a mysterious guardian, Robin Swift thought Babel a paradise, until it became a prison. Can a student stand against an empire? So I think this book pretty much encompasses dark academia aesthetic. She has all of this knowledge. She was a Chinese English translator, so we have that aspect going into the book. She actually went to Oxford and Cambridge and has all of these PhDs, and she's so talented and so intelligent. Oh my gosh. So I'm expecting amazing things from this book. I've already seen really positive reviews, and I hope to love it just like everyone else. And if I do like her writing style, maybe I'll pick up the Poppy Wars. Let me know if you've read that series and if I should give it a go. Okay, this next adult fantasy book is one that I have not seen any positive reviews for. So I'm hesitant to pick it up, but I own 2 copies because I have a Fairy Lit edition and a Waterstones exclusive edition because I pre-ordered both, and that would be Book of Night by Holly Black. But this is a beautiful copy. Look at this gorgeous naked hardback, and it also has some very cool inside cover art. I've just heard that this book was kind of written with not much care and thought, and that many people found it boring. I know it has to do with shadow magic. It's set in like an urban fantasy world like our own, possibly our own. It's quite short, and I know that there's a sequel coming out, and we're following a string of characters with twists and turns. So beyond that, and the fact that people don't really like this book, I don't know much else. So this is going to the bottom of the pile. I will read it eventually, hopefully this month, but if I don't get to it, you know why. Okay, now we have 4 books that I'm currently in the middle of reading. I read multiple books at once, so I haven't put any of these down. I haven't DNF'd them. I've just like gone to different things because my brain's chaotic. And the first one would be Gallant by V.E. Schwab. This is about a young girl named Olivia Pryor who doesn't speak. It has to deal with a haunted house, a missing family, letters that are dark and mysterious, and lots of ghouls and ghosts. I am currently 43 pages in. I really enjoyed the writing style when I was reading this about a month ago, so I'm going to finish that for sure. And then I have one that I really loved and then really hated and put down, and that would be The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I did not like this book. I said did not like this book. I don't like this book, but I want to finish it. It's dark academia. I have never read anything like it, so I have to give the author credits for that. This is a completely character-driven book. The plot is practically non-existent except for the fact that we have these 6 magicians who are all fighting for 5 places in this magical superior institution of knowledge. Basically, they hang out in a library and practice magic that is kind of all based in science as we know it. There's like physics, there's aerodynamics, lots of language that goes above my head. You can feel really smart reading this book and then immediately feel very dumb. So that part really pulls me out. I got to a part where there was like this cheeky threesome going on, and I was like, where is this coming from? I don't understand the point of this. What? So I put it down, and I think, yeah, I'm on page 235. So you have a piece of toilet paper as a bookmark. That's the kind of reader I am. I'm on page 235, and there are about 370 pages. I have the Atlas Paradox pre-ordered, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep that pre-order. We have to get to the end of this. If you've read this book, please let me know what you think. I know it's the biggest book on TikTok for the entire year, but I'm just one of those people that's not following the hype. Okay, anyway, the next 2, oh my gosh, I love, and you probably will love them as well. I need to finish The Crown of Golden Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is her vampire werewolf adult fantasy romance series. So good, oh my god. Book 1, From Blood and Ash, follows this young girl who is she's like a young woman. She's a young woman who is a maiden, so she's very virtuous. She's not supposed to be seen, she's not supposed to be touched. And then you have a bodyguard trope, an enemies to lovers trope. So many fantastic, fabulous things that we love in our fantasy romance romance books are in this series. If you love those kind of like cookie cutter tropes, then you will love this series. If you're looking for something very different, this series might not be for you, but for me, it's like coming home. I love this. This is like Twilight for adults. It's so good. So I need to finish this. I am on page 97, and then I also need to finish, you're gonna kill me because I haven't finished it yet, but Glow by Raven Kennedy, book 4 in the Plated Prisoner series. Okay, I am on page 299. This is what I'm saying about being a chaotic reader. I am just in the middle of all these books. Like, I'm 300 pages into this book. I'm loving it. I don't want to say anything else about this because I'm finishing this up and then I'm going to do a whole review of the Glow series, Plated Prisoner series for you, because I have had such a fun time with this series, and if you haven't picked it up, I encourage you to do so. However, go into book 1 with a little bit of a pinch of salt because it's not the best writing, but I promise, it gets so good. Just enjoy it. Just trust me, okay? Just trust me because this book is so good. I'm loving it. I will finish it. All right, very quickly, last 2 books. 3 book. I forgot to mention, I'm going to be reading Kingdom of the Feared by Carrie Maniscalco, which is book 3, following Kingdom of the Curse. Kingdom of the Curse, I absolutely loved. This has an Italian-inspired fantasy setting, where in book 1, you have this murder mystery going on, so you're running around finding clues. You also have the 7 deadly sins personified as like sexy men in hell, and then in book 2, you actually go to hell and yeah, some fun stuff goes on. I can't say anything more because it's spoilery. Book 1, I didn't really care for. Book 2, I absolutely loved. Book 3, I'm hoping I will love as well, but that's coming out today. So hopefully that book comes in the mail in the next couple of days. Okay, very quickly, the last 2 books I hope to read this month. I'm currently on my reread of Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. I finished book 2 this week, and I'm like, okay, thank God, because books 1 and 2 are just like, they're so YA. When I originally read book 2, I gave it 5 stars, and I was like, this is amazing, I love all the plot twists, and like, shit's so good, the writing's so good, and it is, but I knew all the plot twists, so going into this book, I don't really remember what happens from book 3 onwards following my concussion. So it feels like a fresh story, and I know that things like pick up and become more adult, which I'm excited about, and then I will move on to Queen of Shadows. So you know how Sarah J. Maas like starts down here and then you end up like way over there in another part of the series, like down the line? That's what's happening in this series. So in book 1, Selena is an assassin, and she's just been released from this internment camp where she's a slave and she has to compete in a magical competition for the evil king. By the time we get to book 3, we have progressed much further along than that plot line, so I can't really say much else, but I am doing reviews that are non-spoiler for these books, so that will be coming out shortly. So that is it. I say that's it, but that's a huge pile of books. So that is my TBR for the month of October. It'll probably flow into November as it always does. What are you reading this month? Are you into the witchy, paranormal, fantasy romance books like I am? Or do you read murders and mysteries and like contemporary thrillers? I'm not a thriller person. However, I do have a small stack of murder mysteries that I would not be opposed to reading. I own them. So maybe I'll do just like a solo video of just those books because I don't feel like that's our vibe on this channel, but I'm more than happy to try something new. But these books are top priority. If you read any of them, please let me know your thoughts, non-spoiler, in the comments. I'd love to chat. You can connect with me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm on there all the time. So anyway, drop me a DM and let's put a spider emoji in the comments if you made it to the end of this video so I know who you are and I can thank you down below. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope that you find a book that you love this week and that you can just soak up all the witchy, spooky vibes of this season. How many times did I say spooky in this video? Have a shot of coffee every time I did. Anyway, that's it. I will see you in another video soon. Bye. Oh my god, wait, hold on. Before I say goodbye, I forgot to mention I have 3 other books that are not in this pile because I am doing a reading challenge of witchy, paranormal, fantasy, romance books. That's such a long title to say. That's coming out this month. Okay, anyway, bye.